yeah, not content with putting double adverts in videos now. YouTube, as of mid 2021, is just going to start slapping videos on smaller content creators' videos. So that's small content creators who haven't generated enough hype and buzz to actually earn the money from the videos, the adverts. They're not going to see anything from it, but YouTube will.
That's a. I was going to say that's a shame. If they actually force these adverts on and force them to actually take a amount of the profits as well, forcing you to actually take money.
Yeah, that would be nice,
That,
but no.
that would be nice. Yeah.
So maybe, well, the sarcastic response is, well, you need to make sure to stop that happening, that you swear a lot in the first 30 seconds of the video,
Yes,
so
let's
that
demonetize this shit.
so you get demonetized.
Demonetized.
Demonetized. And given that we swear plenty in these videos anyway,
Yes, and
fuck shit
talk about
bollocks. Yeah, these aren't going to get
pornography a lot.
monetized.
Talk about masturbation and sadness wanks. Yeah, we're not going to get anywhere.
Yes. And look back on our older videos to see where we talked about sodomization.
Yes. And this is where we get into trouble, like 10 years down the road, and have to make a public apology.
Well, hopefully by then social media and attitudes would have softened to it and say, well, it was 10 years ago, it's fine.
You're not allowed to do the next Justice League film. Ah, shit.
Let's go to El Pozo at the end there.
El Bozo.
Unlike a few years ago, some young lass applied to be the, I think it was the PA to the Commissioner of the Kent Police Force, and she got the job. But then a few months after she got the job, she was sacked because it had turned out that 3 or 4 years earlier she'd made some somewhat questionable tweets, and she was binned. And it's like, well, hold on a minute. She was like 14 or 15 when she made those tweets. Is it really fair to be crippling her career because of that?
Never fair.
No.
It's never fair to hold that millstone over someone's neck for something they just jokingly put down on a tweet that they didn't think anyone apart from their closest friends was going to actually look at.
Yeah. I mean, there is that, and being a young person, you can definitely be excused for that sort of thing. I mean, there's certainly clothing styles and attitudes that I look back on as a youngster, such as the stupid Union Jack bandana that I wore to the
I remember
Osprey back in the day briefly.
that. Yeah,
It's like, why did I wear that? Well, it seemed pretty cool at the time, but
it never did.
it never did in reality. It
Well,
was
even back then, we just say, even back then, we said, no, he looks like a dick.
yeah.
But we'll go with it because he looks like a dick, and no one he doesn't realize everyone's laughing at him.
Yeah,
That's the kind of friends we are.
but it's like, can you really just condemn me to be a dick for life because 20 odd years ago I decided to wear a Union Jack bandana across my head like some kind of biker in the Osprey pub, which was known for being a biker pub, but
Yeah, but
Right.
not so much a neo-Nazi, right-wing extremist pub.
well, if it had been a St George's flag, then you could be excused for thinking that. But then also that brings into the fact, how the hell did a flag become denigrated to be entirely associated with right-wing nationalistic tendencies? I mean,
Because it's
because of the groups that adopted it effectively.
the loudest, the loudest voice gets the. Well, no, it's the squeaky wheel gets the grease. That's the proper. It doesn't really work so well, but my point is sound. Because they're the ones that wave the flag and shout the most.
Yeah, I know what you mean with that stuff. It is as silly as that the St George's flag has now become a racist flag because of certain groups who've used it as their
A very,
Their
very,
avatar, I
very, very
suppose.
small minority.
yeah. But yes, it seems to be these days though. You put out a certain tweet, you put out a certain picture or something, and suddenly you're demonized and careers are destroyed by something that you could have been a bit pissed up when you were saying.
Yeah.
And
Just
this,
imagine if any of our subscribers actually get their hands on Rambling Moses. What the hell were we thinking?
I can't. I can picture it. I can't remember the context of it.
What, Rambling Moses? Yes, you can.
I can if I remember. If I watched it again, I know what the game was we were playing when we did that.
Well, it was two gorillas beating up a black girl.
I don't think race featured in it though. It just happened to be a character that we picked out or something.
She was a bald-headed black girl with a monocle.
That's it. Skunk Anansi with a monocle.
Yes, it was basically skin. Yes. Some really rocking Vietnam music playing.
You see, that's on a
Ooh,
complete
proper shit face that night though.
U-turn on that, or on our original conversation. So I suppose to wrap up the original conversation is that it is a bit much to be condemning a young person for in their later life for something, a decision or action they've made in their younger years. But to follow up on that conversation, isn't it quite telling of perhaps the generation of gamers we've become? And I'm definitely speaking for myself, perhaps not yourself here, but the fact with a game like the movies, I could quite happily sit down for hours and just do that storyboard effect to build up a movie that I wanted. It could make a movie. I mean, the game itself had nothing to do with actually making the movies, but it's almost like it turned into a game that was just about making your own movies rather than building up a movie studio like theme park games. But is that kind
It
of
was it was a good mix because you could do either really.
yeah?
You could either be in it for the management side or just completely ignore it and just go straight to the movie making side.
Yeah, because you could just ignore that and just tell the game to, because the movie that you made yourself, storyboard by storyboard, had absolutely no effect on the outcome of that script and the quality
No,
of the film and the money it made. That was very much a game of two separate games.
it was, and it was one of the reasons that was I made an actual movie while I was playing one of my games is because it tells you it needs three characters for this script. Okay, fine. You just drop your three characters in. Doesn't tell you what the actual script is or anything. You just put your characters in and they'll do it. And then it turns out like your two male characters are actually romantically involved, and you had nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
And it was just constant these homosexual coming out films. It's like I didn't sign off on these. This is supposed to be a Star Trek ripoff.
But yeah, I think the point I'm making there is the fact that certainly in my own case that the creativity is gone. It's just sapped. I mean, when the
Well,
movies
out of
came
yourself, you mean?
out of myself, yeah. I mean, I can't speak for you. I can't, I can only speak for myself here. But we discussed it numerous times with the likes with games of the likes of Crusader Kings. I find it difficult to sit down and just concentrate on a complex game, whereas back in the early 2000s, before we had a lifestyle of everything now, I could quite happily just spend an hour or two just reading a manual and figuring a game out, and it didn't matter if I needed to spend a couple of hours, several hours figuring the mechanics of a game out. I did it because
Play it right in front of us.
I spent
Right.
30 quid on it and I was damn well going to play it.
Yeah. certainly is. It seems to be harder these days to get to the learning.
Yeah, of course. Only one of those shots hit.
Sure if that was a bot or not.
No, I don't think it was. It looked a bit more lubricated in its movement than a bot.
I'm getting shot at. Oh, I'm down.
Okay. Oh, I can see. Oh.
Arrow.
Oh.
Arrow.